All right, what's up, guys? Good morning. Happy Wednesday, December 4th. Hey, what's up, Lorna? Good morning. All right, guys, looking at the futures, we got the NQ up about 0.7%. Bitcoin a little quiet. S&P futures up a third. Gold is flat. The YM up a bit, and the RUT up a bit. So we got the QQQ trying to lead the charge here. Looking at the hourly, right towards the end of the cash session from yesterday. They take that 1 hour squeeze. They go from the slingshot to the white arrow. Made for a pretty good overnight push. So, don't forget with the S&P futures, the NQ futures, you can come in here and buy options. So yesterday I bought the 21,500 calls for today's expiration. All right, I'm buying those yesterday before the close. The hourly squeeze makes for a good double overnight. But bigger picture and beyond that, we got a buy signal across 1, 2, 3. Buy signals across every time frame. We got a daily squeeze trying to fire long. Now we're only 2 days into a daily squeeze, so not what I would call a big one. Come on now. Don't be shy, NQ. Here we go. Well, yeah, you're only 2 bars in, but squeeze, buy signal, and the perfect score. So that all shapes up for further upside. And then looking at the sheet would confirm, that the bulls have got control here. At the close yesterday, the QQQ gets a perfect 120. S&Ps get 108, Dow Jones 86, and so on and so on. For the big boys, Amazon gets a perfect score. Apple gets a 118. All right, Netflix looking good. Meta coming back. Tesla, TSM, Microsoft. Plenty to work with. And for a few squeeze setups here, all right, weekly charts, you have Apple, Google, Microsoft, Broadcom. 3-day squeezes, Apple, Meta, TSM, Microsoft, Google, Broadcom. If y'all want, I'll leave the screen up here for like 10, 15 seconds. If you want, take a screenshot, then come back and look at a few of these. I love Apple on the weekly and the 3-day. I'm loving Meta on the 3-day and the 2-day. Good looking squeeze action. But all right, so for a few of our open trades here, and right now we're long Apple, we are long Microsoft, we're long Meta, and then we also got some Starbucks. So for the Apple trade, the big fruit, we got the 240 calls for January expiration, which we were buying back in early November. We bought a handful at 350. We bought more around 470. Now they end up a little bit in the money. If we look at the Apple weekly squeeze, right, the bigger picture move, the bigger picture target, it's going to be a move into 250. Right, that could be today, that could be this week, that could be 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road. The goal is you find these squeezes, build up our position early. We want to get paid on the easy part of that move. All right, now Apple might get 250, 255, 260. Good example here, I think, is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's got that giant weekly squeeze. Right, they break it out, they fire the squeeze. For a couple of weeks there, the thing runs like a bat out of hell. And then you hit your 3 ATR target. You've made the easy part of that move. They could keep it going a little bit more often. It's going to be a couple of weeks of chop, maybe even a pullback. So that all being said there on Apple, yeah, the target is 250. And if I hold on my size into 250, yeah, I'm going to make a lot more. 244, 245. I think close enough for government work. The other thing to consider, The path from 230 into 250. You look at the weekly squeeze, yeah, that could be in a straight line. Could also be a chance. You go from 230 into 245-ish. They fire off that daily squeeze. Daily squeeze takes you to your daily target. Yeah, maybe a little chop, a little pullback. But what I'm thinking here is we got exit orders working at $10. Right. The calls close at 8:35, 8:45 yesterday. Excuse me. A little bit more of a push. Those are going for 9.50 to $10. I think we'll take the profit. What we can do at that point is, I can only speak from my own account. But we get rid of these calls for 9.50 to $10 per contract. I'll lock in, call it 18 to 19,000 a profit. Right. Now I've got some good cash in my pocket. At that point, if I think Apple can keep on going higher, maybe of that, call it 20,000 a profit, I take $2,000 of it, and now maybe I'm going out to February and I'm buying a 255, 260 call on Apple. Now I've kind of picked my poison. If Apple keeps on pushing, I'll keep on making more money. If Apple totally, if Apple totally just falls apart here, I'll give back $2,000 between the two trades. I got a really nice net profit. That helps with the FOMO of, oh boy, what if Apple keeps pushing? It also helps with the FOMO of, man, what if Google, what if Apple gaps down and I give back all that profit? Then the other thought here is, again, just speaking from my own account, if you're taking decent size on a trade, then the thing's moving in your favor. Maybe that trade is doubled. You reach a point where that open P&L, it represents a decent chunk of your account. Say you take a 10% position size and then the trade doubles, that trade now represents 20% of your account. On paper, of course. But yeah, there's the Big Apple, and then Meta. A little quiet here at the open. But yeah, so we're buying call debit spreads back here. Pretty much at the dead high. They flush it, they break it. One of those cases where that trade turns against you so quick. You're down a quick 70, 75, 80%. So from a risk management standpoint, there's not too much left to salvage. My max loss is $1,000. The trade is down 800. All right, yeah, if I close it now, I'll get back maybe $200, but not too much left to save there. Now we get the turnaround. Big push through the $600 call wall. Whoops. So from here, they just fired the daily squeeze. They're working on getting that 2-day squeeze going. And they're doing the same thing here with the 3-day squeeze. Now for the we got a 610, 620 debit spread for December 20th. Let's see what that's going for at the open, and then we'll figure out a good exit order for that one. The 3-day squeeze says bigger picture. You're looking for a move into 635 to 640. But yeah, good turnaround there for Meta, and then the Microsoft trade. Decent gap into that 435-ish. We jumped in here We jumped in back on Monday. Had a really clean end of day 15-minute squeeze, and then pretty much it spends all of yesterday just doing a whole lot of nothing in a 15-minute squeeze. Gapping up into 234, 235. That'll help our trade for Friday. Bigger picture, you got a daily squeeze shaping up, a 2-day squeeze, a 3-day squeeze, and the W. And we don't got a buy signal just yet. We don't have the perfect score. We don't got momentum turning. You look at it and just think, if then statements. If this weekly squeeze fires long, Microsoft is what? Not saying it does happen, not saying it happens, anytime soon, but just basics of the squeeze. If the squeeze fires long, price is heading towards 2.5 to 3 ATR. Right? At the moment, that's around 470. If they actually get around to firing that squeeze, it's going to be a $490 to $500 target. Maybe to call for that a little early, but looking back at Apple, we were also a little early here as well. So shorter term, looking for a move into that 435 to 440. Bigger picture, keep an eye on those bigger squeezes. And then finally would be Starbucks. Not breaking records, but also not breaking any rules. The one thing I don't love here, and I could be nitpicking, from October through November into December, all that time spent in a big daily squeeze. When that daily squeeze finally fires long 3 days ago, right, we're going from the buildup of the energy phase to the release of the energy phase. What should that look like in most situations? The weekly chart of Bitcoin. Right, we're after 23 weeks of building energy. Break it out, squeeze fires. You're getting that good stuff. Starbucks is more so they build up the energy, they release the energy, not coming in the form of a big explosive directional move. Very comfortable coming back and back testing that $100. Right, pop it, flush it back, pop it, flush it back. But yeah, no rules being broken. Holds above that 21, holds above that 100 strike, buy signal, perfect score. Until things change, I'm going to hold on. Looking for a move into 104, 105. One tricky thing about these kinds of stocks, though, Starbucks is healthcare names, energy, industrials. They tend to get a lot of love and a lot of shine when we're getting that short-lived rotation. Right, they're dumping Nvidia, they're selling, Google, they're selling Microsoft, they're selling Tesla. Cash rotates into industrial names, XLP, yada yada. Who's getting all the love this week? Old Faithful, right, Big Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, Google, etc. Big tech, big semis, Mag 7. And then the things that were getting a little love during that short-lived rotation, like energy. It's like, oh boy, here comes energy, and then well, maybe not. Maybe they're going back to buying a crap load of Amazon. But yeah, we're going to hold on to Starbucks for now. And then aside from that, Amazon grades out nicely. Looking like a gap into the 215 call wall. Yeah, so 215 is a spot to watch on Amazon. And then let's go check up on Google. Google, another one, maybe a little early. But at the moment, the weekly squeeze says we're a MACD shift away from a big push. So we're kind of back here. In a weekly squeeze, structure is really bullish. You're in a really good uptrend. Only little problem is the MACD is below zero. They turn, they get the white arrow. Off goes your weekly squeeze. If that weekly squeeze fires long, 190, 200 plus. Bigger picture than you take it all day by day. Jumping over to Tesla. Tesla's having a little trouble under the 360 call wall. So under that level, it might be a tricky long. One thing you could look for, though. So right now, Netflix has a call wall at 900. And going back to last week, not at 900, not a couple of bucks, below 900. But back here, a good 20, 30 bucks below the call wall, you get a really clean 30-minute squeeze. Right. Jump in, buy the call, play for a push into that major level. So if on Tesla that level is 360, in that 350-ish neighborhood, could we get a really clean 15-minute squeeze, 30-minute, 1 hour? It does have the 4 hour. Only problem here is the 4 hour chart lacks momentum. Notice on the gap up yesterday, right? Gap it up, they pump it into the call wall. They're doing that with momentum below zero. Usually, you're not going to get that bigger breakout until you get that shift. So a couple things to watch there on the Tesla. Looking like a gap into 354. And then the last one I'll give you here would be Nvidia. You might have heard of it. I'm looking to buy it this week. So a couple of things got to happen. I would like a couple of closes back above the 21 EMA. And I can buy it on one close back above. Two closes just further confirms it. Back above that 21 in this brand new daily squeeze. Then I got to get my lower time frame buy signals. Nvidia's around 142, 143. And then I've got 30-minute buy signal coming through, hourly, 2 hour. Jump in by the 150 calls. Actually, let me think about that. Daily squeeze and a 2-day squeeze. We're early on the 2-day squeeze. Let me see, January. I don't mind that. The January 150. They're going for about $4 per contract. On a breakout above 150, you're going to be looking at, let me see, $4. On a good breakout above 150, you should be looking at a double. And what's also nice is you don't need that breakout by next Friday. You need it in about a month or so, which I think makes it a little easier to, maybe crank up the size a bit. But yeah, if you're in my room, we'll be looking for some Nvidia. But all right, y'all, that is what I've got for you today. We haven't checked the S&Ps. 3 levels for you: 6,000, 60, 50, and then 6,100. Shorter term thinking, we end up back under 6,000. That could make for a great pullback to our 21 EMA. But if you're looking for an immediate path into 6,100, I think getting back under 6K is a little bit too much of a give back. But above that 6,000, you favor the bulls. And then really above the 60-50 strike, we do have our call wall up there at 6,100. I think you make for a great target. One thing to consider. Looking at the monthly chart of the S&Ps, we are definitely closer to the end of the move than we are to the beginning. And we can rally for another 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 weeks. But you get a big monthly squeeze, fires to the upside, eventually pulls back, and we're chopping. Brand new monthly squeeze, fires to the upside. We're at our target. If there's a case for a quote-unquote blow-off top here, or a better way to look at it, a spot to maybe take a few chips off the table, SPX 6100 is not a bad one. But all right, any questions you guys and gals got? Anything you want to look at? Drop them in the chat, and I've got you. Let me check a few pre-market quotes here. Microsoft. All right. Yeah, Claudia, I like it. Nice, ES. And then I got the Nvidia December 27th 150s. End of month, I like that a lot. December 27th, 23 days. I like that trade a lot. The more I become a fan of buying the out the money options, a big part of that for me is average true range and time till expiration. Meaning, I buy options that expire in 10 days, and I'm looking for a 50-point move on a stock that moves maybe $1 per day. Realistically, probably not going to hit my target. We take an Nvidia with a daily average true range of, let me plop it over here. ATR. All right, so we look at Nvidia with an ATR of, we'll call it $5. Let me make sure that's a daily. Aggregation daily. Come on. All right, so daily average of $5. So, all right, I take that average true range, and then I think, all right, well, we're at 140-ish, and the calls I'm buying are about $10 out of the money. Average true range wise, it's about two ATR, and I'm giving that trade about 20 plus days till expiration. Based on the daily average true range, that could happen in 2 sessions. That all kind of lines up. It is a move into 150 before my expiration realistic? If Nvidia is moving 50 cents per day, that might be a big stretch. It's moving $4 to $5 per day. Yeah, you could easily get that 150. So I like it, Miss Claudia. Rob P, what's up, Rob? Am I buying any doo-doo stocks like doo-doo, like DJT? Not really my wheelhouse. 95% of what I focus on is these 10 names over here, and then S&P's QQQ IWM. That being said, if I'm going to go trade a DJT, a GameStop, an AMC, the options trade might be a little different, given all the IV and such. But aside from that, I wouldn't really reinvent my wheel. I would trade DJT the same way I would trade Apple. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? Is it neutral? Where's my key levels? Can I get long or short on a good-looking squeeze? The same old song and dance, as they say. Kyle, should we roll Microsoft? What I want to do here at the open is we'll see what our calls are going for. We got 440 calls for Friday, so option A, they gap it up and they pump it into 440. Beautiful thing. Option B, they gap it up a bit and then we go nowhere. We're going to get a little profit coming through, but our calls are $5 out the money. So I think if anything, let's see what they're going for here on the gap, and then maybe take the easy paycheck. One thing I want to keep in mind is we're not taking this trade on a weekly squeeze signal, a 4-hour, a daily squeeze. We jumped in looking for a nice base hit off of the 15-minute. Could the 15-minute squeeze kick off a $10 move? Yeah. They break out the QQQ probably, but we'll check it out at the open. I'm inclined to take the paycheck, and then maybe think about rolling or doing something else there. All right, NQ is pushing nicely. Yeah, deep sigh. Okay, so Woodstock, good question. On the sheet, if we got a green number in the call wall or the put wall, that number has gone higher overnight. So for Apple, the put wall went from 235 now into 237.50. Broadcom, the call wall drops from, I want to say, 180 down to 170, so on and so on. All right, 9:12. Keep an eye on the clock. Hey, good morning, Debbie. Always good to see you. Zen Trader, can I take a look at MU? Of course. Nucor, right? Having a bit of a rough go here. All right, NU. Until things really change, it's not the kind of thing I could get long. Now, the long I would look for in here would be the reversion to the mean. The weekly chart is bearish, the daily chart is bearish, but something where we may be a bit oversold. I'm getting 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute buy signals. Maybe I'm buying cheap calls, playing for a bounce back into the 200 SMA, the 21 EMA. But bigger picture, momentum below 0, 21 below the 50, we're below the 200. All things pointing towards bigger picture, the path of least resistance, until this all changes, very much to the downside. But what I mean by looking for a short-term, dead cat bounce kind of trade, looking for that moment in time on a 5-minute, 15-minute, or a 30-minute. And notice, being that things overall are a lot more bearish, these pops can be very short-lived. But from the ground up, 5-minute chart gets a good momentum turn, 21 back above the 50, a squeeze, a buy signal. They get that dynamic going across a few more time frames. Then they can get that dead cat bounce. All right, good morning, folks on YouTube. Miguel, can we review Tesla? Yeah, we did Tesla, but I think you want to watch 350 and 360. Here's the thing. Tesla can go down to 320 tomorrow. And I think that daily chart is still really bullish. Gap it up into election, a little bit more pump in, one more gap up, and then it's been a total chop fest. Bigger picture, a lot of beauty in that chop fest. At one point, we're up here at 360 with our 21 EMA down here at 270. Right, so we're about $100 above home base. What the chop gives you is price at 350, and now the 21 down here at 320. Okay, cool. Now we're only $20-$30 above home base and not $100. It's a good breather, a good break in the action. Now something's got to get that next leg going. And again, they got to get that going through 360. The major thing I could give you for now is going to be the 4-hour squeeze. But the kicker is they got to get that momentum turn. I put a Ferrari in your driveway, but there's no gas in the tank. You're going to look at it, you can admire it, but you're not going to have too much fun with it. Big pop into the call wall, momentum still below 0. Sometimes they'll break it out on that dynamic, but you're not fully locked and loaded. So that, I think, would be the key there. But all right, y'all, I'm going to let you go. Got to jump into my room in about 4 minutes here. But as always, I appreciate your time. Hope you found it helpful. Wish you all the best of luck today. And then today's what? Today's Wednesday. If we do end up taking off some trades today, I'll put out a new video on the channel here later tonight. But have a great day. Go get them and talk soon. Adios.